none other than one of my top clients, Ryan Grasso. And he's the first guest that I have had come on thus far because number one, he has been bitten by the bug as hard as I have, if not even more severely. But I wanted to tell our stories for those of you who don't understand pickleball and the culture and the game and everything that goes along with it. I think the thing that I have noticed that is so interesting about pickleball, and I'm sure Ryan will agree, is that everyone has a really amazing story that goes along with it. So, Ryan, this is where I put you on the spot. Tell me what happened, a little bit about your story with pickleball and how it has changed your life, your body, all of it.
Oh, I mean, well, I'll tell you what, Lori, for everything that I remember, okay, the only thing that I remember is, we've known each other a long time. We've seen each other here and there. I was doing something around the store and you were outside and you were like, I'm playing pickleball. You got to come play. And I'm like, ooh, pickleball. Yeah, let's do it. And then, then I wouldn't see you for a couple months. And then then I would see you again. And you're like, you got to come play. And I'd be like, ooh, yeah.
So here's the question, Ryan, because I'm curious. And you know what's funny? I must do this to everyone because everyone says the same exact thing. Like, Laura, you basically ambushed me and said, you have to come play pickleball. But the interesting thing is you went, Lori, ooh. Like, tell me what the ooh was in your head. Like, what was it that you thought was going to be your experience, but wasn't?
So let's just fast forward to the end here and how hooked and how much I absolutely love the sport and thank you for everything you've done for getting me into it. Okay. Back then it was pickleball. Who, you get caught up in, you have some friends that like it and some friends that don't. And the friends that don't, they love to bash. Right.
Yeah.
So
right. It's not a real sport.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not, I don't know if I want to get into that and wind up, getting on the bashing end. Even though I love racket sports, I played a lot of ping pong and tennis growing up and stuff like that.
Right.
But eventually, I met up with you, and I'll tell you what, this is going to be great for this particular podcast. Is this time last year was when I first decided to pull the trigger and come take a couple of lessons.
Yeah.
It was cold. It was up at Four Seasons, right? And it was the very first time we played, second time we played, I was like, oh no.
You were hooked. But I also remember, Ryan, that you had some physical limitations. Like there were some things going on with you that you were probably concerned that you weren't ready to do it. So tell me, if you don't mind, a little more about like what was going on with you physically that now that you've noticed that you have kind of gotten through because of pickleball has helped you strengthen certain areas.
Well, okay. So here's the deal with that, right? I mean, we're all getting, well, not we all. Pickleball predominantly, from what I understand, everyone says it's the old person's sport. Obviously we all know that's not the case.
Yeah.
As we get older, right? I'm 54 this year now. And, at that time I was, through a lot of my other stuff growing up, bad neck, bad knee, bad back, getting up and my stiff all the time, knees are bad, everything is just, things start to go. And playing sports and going to the gym as you get really older, it's a life changing decision if you decide you want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, I think I may have had a problem with carotid artery or something like that. It was a pretty rough thing that was going on. But the doctor said, hey, you got to start working out. And my wife, God bless her, she was like, go work out. And I'm like, because I'd been fishing for the past 5 years and every conversation was was when we're signing the divorce papers. Right. So thankfully, I got hurt, and the doctor said, you got to
Yeah.
start working out. And she was like, go play pickleball.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well, I think that's amazing because a lot of people have the same type of story is that like and I share that story as well. And because my back had been injured for years when I started playing pickleball. And I remember getting invited by a couple of friends and they said, come out and play pickleball. And at that point, I had never even heard of it. I didn't know what the hell pickleball was. And I figured I'm going to go out and try it. I couldn't even my back was so bad I couldn't even bend over and pick up the balls, and I couldn't run for a ball, and I just said, "You know what? It's COVID, there's nothing else to do. I might as well just trust my body and see what happens." And I
yep,
think you're as surprised as I am where it's like you get to this point and if you stand by the water cooler on the side of the court and start listening to people's stories, more often than not, they kinda come from our background where they had limitations. They weren't sure it was the right fit, but they tried it and they realized that the culture is so amazing and the people are so patient and tolerant and kind that they just like welcome you in. So it's such a great place to be. And the network. I mean, I'm sure you could also
that's the
talk
key.
about that.
That's the
Yeah.
key right there. In my opinion, right?
Mhm.
It people are they're it's a little like everyone says they're kind of worried about getting into something like this and what it's what it can it hurt, can it not. The people that you meet, you could go out and play tennis. What do you have, two or three, maybe four different tennis players that you'll go out and be able to finally find some time to go play a couple games with, or
Right.
whatever it is. We
Mhm.
go play pickleball and there is 100 people, at a meetup at Atkinson Park
Yeah.
every 9 o'clock in the morning, and
Yep.
every 6 p.m. evening meetup is full. And I mean, like, 100 players.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And everybody's nice. Everybody knows the rules, how you paddle up and all that stuff. You get on the
Mhm.
court, you play, if you win, you stay once. You know what I mean? You're shaking hands, you're meeting people over and
Yeah.
over and over
Yeah.
again. And you gravitate toward people that are that you would want to associate with.
And
That
it's interesting because I have noticed, I'm sure you have, I now have friends that are in their 20s and I have friends in their 80s. And
yep.
the thing is, you could go and play with all
Since
of these
when?
people. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So,
I might know people that are 80 and know people that are 20. And well, and just for example, one of our close friends, Chris G, right?
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
he's younger than me. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I could call him on the phone right now. At this point in our lives, with me and I have kids, and you have kids,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
have our lives and stuff. It's not like you're
Mhm.
calling people to hang out. That just doesn't happen at this
Right.
stage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But with pickleball, it's like, hey, are you going today? You just signed up. I mean, how often do we talk during the week? Um, it is just a fantastic sport. And I'll talk to anybody about it at length. I just got to get better.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And you know what, Ryan? You and I are very competitive. But I have also noticed, and there's no knock in saying this, there are some people that are very comfortable at staying on the beginner court forever. They just want to go out and hit a couple balls and they want to get some sunshine. They want to talk to a couple friends. I remember I was playing in Florida a couple of years ago. There was a man, he was 90 years old. He would ride his bike to the park every day. He was so cute. His name was Al, and he would play with me every day he came. He would play one game of tennis because the tennis court was right next to the pickleball court. He would play one game of pickleball, and then he'd get on his bike and he'd ride home and have lunch. Like that was his day. So the thing is, it's kind of like whatever you want it to be. But I really like the fact that, and I don't know if you could say this for you, I think that it enriches every part of a person's life. And not saying that pickleball is the be all end all, but I think once you change the way you look at something and change the way you're showing up in life, you start to see it overflowing into other areas of your life as well.
Yeah, the focus. the focus and understanding that people go to the gym because they have to, or
Mhm.
they think they need to go to the gym and they don't go enough, or they go once a week or whatever it is. This is something that you could play 3 4 times a week, and each time gain something, whether it be knowledge or friendship, or some type of connection where your brain is stimulated to the point where, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
definitely not going to fade away playing
Yeah.
pickleball. That's for
I
sure.
I like that you said that too, Ryan, because I say to my clients, and as you know me pretty well, I still practice and I still drill to this day. I will still take lessons. And I tell people that every time I step on the court, it doesn't matter how good I think I am or how wise I think I am, I learn something new every time. And I love that the sport itself has such a quick curve where you can walk on a court, never touch the paddle, never touch the ball, walk off in an hour and be able to hit the ball over and get a rally going and feel good about yourself.
Yep.
But also, you can learn and watch and study forever and continue to learn new things. So it's kind of like, what do you want to get out of it? Like everybody can get something different out of it,
Yep.
which
Yep.
I love that part of the sport.
So today, I was thinking about it today, and I was talking to one of the multiple. It's like one of the other things here. You either you go to play the meetups or the open plays, and you could have a new partner every game. It's
Yeah.
it's not just you if you don't have a partner, you can't play. You're there and you're playing. So
Hmm.
I was talking to this gentleman today about exactly what you and I are talking about right now,
Yeah.
in how it stimulates your mind. And I'm saying to myself, I was telling him how a year ago from right now, when I started playing pickleball with you, I didn't know anything about pickleball. I could
Mm.
play racket sports, but I didn't know anything about pickleball. And I'm not the kind of guy that jumps right into that stuff. I mean, look, it took probably you and me meeting 2 years before I even stepped onto the court with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I did finally, when I did finally pull the trigger and come see you and started with the clinics and stuff like that, I, if you remember, it was clinic, 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 clinic. We were there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, summertime was in, and you're like, have you ever been to the Atkinson Park meetup? And I'm like, what's a meetup? And you're like, you literally said, have you played pickleball outside of these clinics at all in the past 6 months? And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
and
funny.
and so to come full circle, I the blessing or the curse, right?
Mhm.
In that, as I'm getting better every day and recognizing the things that I'm getting better on, I hear myself every single point. I hear your voice in my head saying you were running and hitting, or you got stuck in the transition,
Yeah.
or you returned the ball and you didn't launch for the kitchen line.
Mhm.
You're thinking and you're not moving the person. You're just
Yeah. Yeah.
every little thing I hear in my head, and I'm critiquing myself play by play by play by play, which I think is fantastic. I'm like, oh God, stop. you know but it's great. It's
Yeah.
great to know, hey, great, Ryan, you hit it right
Yeah.
to his forehand again. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
right. But you know what? And I love that you bring that up about, about some people can really feel comfortable nesting, like playing the same place, doing the same thing, but then you get to a point where you're ready to kind of hatch and move on to something else. So that was your journey where you wanted to hatch and move on, and then you'll start to move on, get comfortable there and hatch again. But I think another thing that I find really fascinating is they say that people who play racket sports live, I think it's 7 years longer than people who do not play racket sports. So I tell people all the time, even if you're not great, even if it's so good for your mental clarity, for your hand-eye coordination, for keeping your brain cells firing, like, neurons synapsing. It's not just a physical thing. But the other thing is, what could you really play for 3 hours in a row that you wouldn't lose interest in? Like, that's the other thing about it.
It's crazy. I could,
Yeah.
you know us. We'll play 3 hours. You'd have to drag us off the court, and I'd be looking to play the next morning.
Yeah, the next night. Then you're
Right.
signed up later on that day.
Yes. It is truly something where you have to be, if the bug catches you, you really
Yeah.
have to be prepared to say, hey, okay, I need to take my breaks. I need to make sure I'm eating right. I need to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm sleeping. I need to make sure I'm taking the supplements. And all of those things, that's not a downside. That is an
Mhm.
absolute life-changing benefit
Yeah.
that pickleball has. It says, okay, I come home, I don't want to eat garbage when I get
Right.
home after
Yeah.
working out like that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for people to do. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If you just get up every morning and do go through your routine, are you going to stick to the correct meal plans? Are you going to stick to the correct, are you going to go walk?
Hydration.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This helps you do it. It says, okay, you just worked out for 3 hours. You're not going to go home and eat ice cream cake,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know? And
Exactly.
I love it. I love it
So
for that.
So, Ryan, my last question to you is just because you've been there, you're a year in, you are the type of person that I always said from the very beginning, you were like, I was so excited to coach you because you were very coachable and you were very excited about it. And you obviously had prior experience with tennis and with ping pong. It was really easy for me to get you involved in the sport. What would be your advice to someone today who's kind of on the fence, that's been hearing about it a long time, or maybe has a spouse that plays and they have never tried it, or maybe has a child that plays and they've never tried it? Like, what would be the thing if they were listening to this video today that you would say to them that would kind of give them that little push to make them realize it's okay to try it?
Oh, it's okay. So if I were to tell anybody, right, and obviously depending upon their level, like you mentioned, do they play sports? Did they play
Mhm.
ever? Whatever. If someone was brand new, never held a racket before in their lives, I would absolutely 100% recommend it specifically for the cardiovascular
Mhm.
exercise, for the mental focus, the
Mhm.
clarity, the friendships, the list goes on and on for the benefits of just picking up the paddle and getting out there. There are people that the meetups that happen are strictly beginner, they're strictly intermediate. There can be blending. I mean, you'll know as you go on, but a new player would never have to worry about going on court and getting embarrassed or anything like that.
Mhm. Right. Yeah.
My recommendation, honestly, and because of the way I did it, is I met with you. We did clinics for 2 3 months. Once a week. It wasn't
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Instead of going out and playing with everybody, I went and played with you once a week, and we had clinics, or
Mhm.
twice a week we'd have clinics. And I just learned those basic ropes of hitting the ball and understanding the kitchen and understanding the rules. And by the way, you are a fantastic instructor. And every single person that I meet that talks to you says, or talks about you, says that you are just a great person and you're just a fantastic coach. So
Thank you.
I
Thank you,
got
Ryan.
lucky in that I know you and we got together and started. But like
Mhm.
I said, somebody new, go ahead and do it. Go, you don't got to go buy a super expensive paddle. You just don't. You go get something, you go find a coach, or
Mhm.
find a meetup for beginners where they can do, where they have drills. They even have meetup, meetup.com drills, like for beginner drills. You can go anywhere and play. It's just the benefits on the other side of it are just immense.
Nice. All right. Well, Ryan, thank you for taking this time today to come on. If anyone has any questions, you can drop them below and we'll try to get back to each and every one of you. And we'll see you on the next broadcast. Anything you want to leave us with, Ryan?
Nope, not at all, Lori. Thank you so much for everything, and I'll
All
see you out in
right.
the court.
You got it, Ryan. All right. We'll see you all the next time.
Bye now.
Let's see if I can click off this thing right. I don't know.
How do you get out of here? I can't get out.